Hello, my friends. Hello, I tell you what, brother. Anyway, I just got back from the doctor. I had my last surgery yesterday, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't been on here. Today's vision is 2020, my friends. Now, one of the reasons why I've got these on, I used to always wear them, but my left eye still got a little bit of a flutter going, and so I'm not like trying to get a lot of direct light to it still. I have to wear my patch at night like a pirate. Arr. But other than that, I don't have to wear them during the day. So yesterday was my last surgery. I have 2 more up visits and then we're done. Actually, a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. So for any of you guys that are contemplating as you get a little older, cataract surgery, I would very much recommend it because the gift of sight is something that a lot of people take for granted, and I'm going to come in, before I get into anything else on this channel about Nibiru and solar flares and the dwarf star and all this other stuff, I'm going to go into this. Now, my mother, who is 86 and in a nursing home and laying in a bed and is not the person that I knew even 5 years ago, it was kind of amazing because when I went in to get this done, there was a lady who was born a year after my mother walking around, doing all that stuff. And I thought, wow, and this woman is a year younger than my mom. When I saw her, I thought she was like 70 years old. She was 85. And she's moving along, didn't look really old. I was like, wow, that's crazy. See, some people have the good genes. But my mother needed cataract surgery, and me, being the dummy that I was and not really realizing that maybe she was beginning to, she doesn't have Alzheimer's, but she's getting into this stage of life where things are different and she sees things that aren't there and this and that or whatever. Who knows? Maybe they really are there. But here's the deal. She needed to have this done and wouldn't do it. Well, she wanted to do it, but me not being able to grab the reins and do it because I didn't really understand that she was going into a position of where she wasn't making rational choices for herself, let it pass. We both did. And now my mom is pretty much legally blind. She can see me when we do a FaceTime video, but she can't really see me. And how different her life would be if she could see and watch TV or favorite shows and, spend her time doing that rather than just laying in a bed thinking about things. And then she'll say things to me that I know aren't true, and it's crazy. So with that being said, we're off that. First 3 minutes of this video was to do them with this. And man, what a difference to be able to see. I can't believe it. Now, I do have to wear readers whenever I read. I can't read anymore close. So now I have to remember these all the time. But at least I can see when I'm looking out straight and driving and everything else. And that's great. That's the first 3 minutes. Now we're going to do another segment. Facebook. Facebook decided to give me a second strike. The first one was undeserved. That was undeserved. The second one was ridiculous because it was over wrestling. And they got a character, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and I'm not going to go into what happened and what I said. There was no cussing. There was no disparaging, nothing. It was just a person who liked that character and didn't like the fact that I said something against him, reported me to Facebook. Facebook showed me the actual picture, and I thought, that comment warranted me being banned? When it's we all know that wrestling is a scripted event, but, it's like boxing. So you're not going to be able to say about your favorite boxer, oh, we'll hit him and hit him again. Well, that's stupid because that's like a UFC, you know what I mean? So for them to take that down was stupid, and I wasn't able to get back on there till now. And now my whole thing is just watching stuff and no comments. Maybe I'll like it or happy face it, and that's about it. Or care it if it happens to be kind of sad. So there's my little Facebook adventure that went over the last day, which was stupid, dumb, ridiculous. Just because some person, probably someone younger, didn't like the fact that I didn't like their person, who I think this character is a little overboard for children. I don't like the storylines they throw anymore because they're too overboard for kids. You know what I mean? And you don't put this stuff out there for kids to see and go, wow. You know what I mean? So, no. Then they got this guy, Bad Bunny. Never heard of the dude. He's a rapper. His rap is crap. Anyway, there's some rap I like, but that guy is just whatever. So That's how I lost my Facebook account for a day. 2 strikes. The first one was unwarranted. The second one was unwarranted. And if I get one more, that's like a week. And I didn't do anything. But you can go on there and badmouth people and say how you're happy a guy died, and we know who that is, and all this, and go after this guy and go after that guy, but it's different on you. Now here's another one. So as the government sat there and pushed for stimulus for $1,400, now they're turning around and our governor here in the good old state of California is pushing for $600. People here can't make it on that. The guys that aren't working. If you want to give guys that do work that's okay. But if you want to give guys that don't work that sucks. Well, you sit there and make your 6-figure salary and you wonder why you're being recalled. Okay? So, now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this whole video before I go off and do some other things today that I'm planning to do since I'm home. And then back to work tomorrow and everything all starts again. There is a thing on the Weather Channel about Alaska and climate change and how this stuff is happening into the water and all this stuff's going on. Now, climate change is real, my friends. You can sit there and say, oh, this is all purported by the government and they're doing all this. This is the thing. Climate change is real, but they don't want to come out there and tell you what it really is about. Because if they tell you, and I got these little bottles of eye drops I can kind of use as my little thing. We're going to say that this is Earth. The little gray thing is Earth, and the little pinkish red thing is the dwarf star, not Nibiru. Everybody goes, oh, it's Nibiru doing it. Oh, it's Nibiru doing it. No, it probably isn't Nibiru doing it. It's the dwarf star, the failed star. And as the failed star gets closer to this, it starts to push it. And its poles begin to shift. And they've already talked about that when that hits Siberia, that's going to be when the big major earthquake happens and everything's going to change. And now you wonder why there's snowing in Texas and all this other stuff. People can sit there and say it's HAARP, and although I believe in that they use it and have it, I don't know if it caused this. And then they turn around and they up these guys' gas prices for gasoline for their cars and for for their electric bill when it wasn't their fault. And the storyline is that they think they knew. And so they turned off their grid because the state of Texas has its own grid against what the rest of us have. So they think they turned it off so it wouldn't be taken out and then take 6 months to come back. And that's why you're finding it's taking little bits of time and they're getting it back and they're getting it back because they just turned it off. And sure, people lost their lives and things like that happened. And I never say anything about that on a whatever you want to say. But, it's kind of like what Spock said when he was dying, that he did something that he did on his own so the many would survive. So there's that. And while a lot of people are out there in search of ET, of which I think there could be, we've been doing so much stuff since 1947 that I am very sure that a lot of this is us. And even ET may be us from the future. Supposedly this distant star, remember they got that signal way back 30, 40 years ago. They finally deciphered it, and it come to find out that this planet was saying they were under attack and they were going to be dying of nuclear proliferation and all this was happening. And they needed help. Well, it would be too late now because that happened then, see? So we couldn't get back to them. But that's from the future, back to the past. You see what I'm saying? But nothing could be done because by the time it deciphered the message, it was too late. See what I'm saying? So, I believe that if ET ever shows up, happy birthday, Sage Wander, I'm having a cup of coffee. It may be us from the future coming back to make sure that this group of people ensure their future. If that means chip, if that means whatever it is, that's what it is. But my belief is that the dwarf star is causing a lot of this problem. And as I told you guys in a different video, it was last year in like November, 19, so 2 years ago. Well, not 2, but a year and something. They found pink snow in Antarctica. Well, let me show you another graph here. This, red, this, white, produces this, pink. Pink snow. And they said it was iron oxide in a real news article. They didn't tell you how it happened. They didn't say where it was from. They just said that it was there. South Pole, Southern Hemisphere. 1983 or 84. Chicago Tribune, New York Times talked about this planet that they found far out in the outer reaches of space. And that they had no clue as to when this was going to come. They didn't know. They had no clue. They said 40, 50 years. Well, that 40, 50 years has come and gone. It's here. Is it this year? Can't tell you. Is it next year? Can't tell you. Gil Broussard did say that if you didn't see it like about 2 days ago, up to the next month by the same date, then they were going to say that it probably was a little bit farther out there. Makes a little bit more sense because 2036 is the John Titor timeline. They're coming back to try to stop an asteroid that's huge enough to take us out. They need a quantum computer, not what we have. And things like Sophia and all that, AI, artificial intelligence, is quantum. When you ask her a question, she answers it like that and reforms her own question to you. And they said that one of the reasons why they don't make these robots so really real is so you know the difference. You can go, oh, well, that's a robot. So RoboCop is already being done. All the things that you guys ever wanted to know is being done. Demolition Man was a great movie because a lot of the things in that movie have come true. Electric cars, cars that drive themselves, flying cars, being given points for foul language, Facebook, social media, taking away weapons, GPS, FaceTime, all that good stuff. But it wasn't called all that. The only thing that they haven't perfected yet is a cryo prison. Taco Bell being the main restaurant, which a lot of people seem to like, and Taco Bell is changing its menu. So there it is. The dwarf star is out there. I have no doubt it isn't out there. And I just lost my face mask that I was going to show you. Oh, here it is. And so this right now is to take away the risk of iron oxide. Do I wear this every single place I go? Not alone. But if it is what I say it is, maybe I should. Now they're saying 2 masks. Maybe the thing's closer. And then they show these things on Facebook, like they look like headset helmets. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a space helmet. That maybe it's going to get worse. But if you think that these guys are ever going to come out here and tell you that that's out there, the panic will be more than you ever thought. Even though there's nothing anyone can do, it's still going to be there. Oh, Alex Jones, he knows nothing. Well, let me tell you this. I am not a big-time fan of Alex Jones. I have listened to his stuff. I do believe some of what he says. I think the guy is a disinfo person that the government allows to give you disinfo. That's what I believe. Is he the guy they say he is? He could be. Is he? I can't say that. He did come on and talk about the getting rid of mother, father, daughter, blah, 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 blah. And then here it comes few months ago, a certain person comes out and says that that's what they're going to do. So he was right about that. One more little issue before I get out of here. When they blew up Orange Man Badge Plaza, see how that building fell? Remind you of anything? Happened about, 19 years ago? Kind of interesting. So while this guy sits here and doesn't want us to get the full stimulus that the government promised us, and you really like these people, government is full of a bunch of crooks. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who runs the show. It's the way it is. I don't care if Humpty Dumpty became president tomorrow. He would be a corrupt dude and be told what to do and run the show from the little shadows. That's exactly how it is. While these people sit there and make six-figure salaries, and you make what you make, and you think that's okay. So, I'm going to end my little video for today, and I might do a short video on the other channel and post this in there so I don't have to redo this video. Just remember that the GOVT is not always your buddy, and not everything they tell you is the way it is. 3 people on here, well, 2 at least. The Bob Fletcher, hard to find him now because it's just hard to find that guy because you'll find different Bob Fletchers. This is the guy that was involved in the government, that did some things with the Clinton trial. Gil Broussard, and there's one other guy. Oh, I actually got to see, this is you-know-who. He doesn't really look like that other guy, but he hardly ever talks. I don't know. Anyway, my friends, this video is about running 2 minutes over my normal. I got things I got to go do, but I wanted to do a video. If you've never had cataract surgery and it's coming up, do it because it'll be the best thing you ever did. Thank you. You guys have a really good day. I'll try to do a little bit more videos, but this was more my priority today than anything else. So, with that being said, peace. I'll be seeing you. You have eyes to the skies. Get a telescope if you don't. And be prepared. See ya.